Well, hello there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for our Friday demo. It's going to be a fun one tonight. I think I've got a relatively simple color palette, although there's a twist to it. And I'm trying something new I have not done before. Hopefully, it works out. I have good feelings about it, but we'll see what happens. And I'll show you all the colors in a second. But welcome, everyone. So far, Judy is here, and Pat. Welcome, Chris and Pamela. So more people will be joining us, I know. But I have got all my stuff ready. I've got all my paints mixed up. I have got my colors. I'll show you exactly what I did to mix them up. I'm working on a panel, one of my custom made panels tonight. It's a 16 by 20. It's all ready to go. I've got the bottom taped off and it's all set to be painted on. Hopefully, it's a good one and I can keep it. Otherwise, you can always paint over them. But so what I'm going to be doing tonight is a combination of two different things, or maybe three different things. It's going to be a straight pour, but I'm going to be doing a double cup, or commonly referred to as a kiss pour. But I am doing a kiss pour with a split cup and a regular cup. And so it's kind of complicated. It's basically like 3 cups of paint all in one doing a straight pour. So we'll see what happens. I've got my cups here. They're just small plastic cups. This is a split cup that I have created. It's kind of like a custom made temporary split cup. I'll talk about that in a second. I do have other split cups that I've used in the past and I like a lot, but I'll explain why I'm not using them in a moment. So, but before we jump into the demo and all the colors and all the fun, I just want to mention that next week, starting Wednesday, September 28th, I'm going to be doing a 3-day cloud pour workshop, and it's free to attend if you want. It's going to be awesome, I think. We're going to be getting together for 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, at the same time. We're getting together right now, 4 o'clock East, or 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. And day one, I'm going to walk you through a simple cloud pour with my Easy Cloud formula. I'll show you what materials you use. I have some handouts you can download. You can watch the replays if you can't make it live. Day two, we're going to get a little more advanced, and I'll show you a classic cloud formula. It's a little more complex, but still pretty easy. And we'll do a little more advanced technique, cloud pour technique. And then on Friday, I will kind of show you some variations you can do with cloud pours, different ways of using the same 2 cloud formulas, but combine them and use them in some different ways. So if you would like to join me for our 3-day workshop, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. There's going to be some cool resources you could get. You have to sign up for it, and I will put the link in the chat right now where you can go to sign up for the workshop. By the way, if you're a member of the Pouring Studio, don't worry about that. You'll be getting all the info Monday, so you don't have to sign up. But anyone new that hasn't been here before, please go and sign up. I'll throw the link in the comments, and it is www.acrylicpouringacademy.com/cloud, and that's it. If you just go there, you'll be able to sign up for the workshop and get access to all the links to join. It's going to be an unlisted group on YouTube, so not everyone will be able to see it, only people that have signed up for the workshop. And then, of course, the replays will be there, the downloads will be there as well. And then we'll also have time during our live streams where you could ask questions if you wish. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun. It's all happening starting next Wednesday, same time as we're meeting right now. So I'll talk about that just a second, or at the end of our live here. And by the way, just a heads up, I'm also opening up my membership, the Pouring Studio membership, along with the workshop. So I'll talk about that as well. If you would like to join the membership, if it seems like a fit for you, that would be awesome. I'll be giving you a little inside look into the pouring membership. I keep trying to combine two things at once: the pouring studio membership. I'll show you give you a tour, show you what we do in there. It's a really, really awesome membership. We've got a great group of fantastic artists in there, and we meet every week and do lives and have a whole lot of fun. We focus on one technique every month, and then this coming month, October, we'll be doing the pearl pour, one type of pearl pour. So that's going to be very exciting and awesome. So if you want to be a part of that, I'll be talking more about that next week during the workshop. So let's get going into our demo tonight. If you have any questions, by the way, throw them in the comments. I will be happy to answer them as we proceed here regarding the workshop or the membership or the demo we're just about to get into. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to flip the camera over and show you the colors that I have mixed up for tonight. So here we go. And here again is my 16 by 20 panel that I'm working on. It's a very basic color palette that I've combined here. These are the colors I've mixed up. There are 5 of them. This is black. It's basically a black, but there is another color added. I'll show you that in a second. And right here I've got a metallic white. Right here is a silver. Right here I've got a gold, and this is actually a gold-silver combo. This one right here, which is Liquitex Basics Gold. The rest of these, and I'm using a combination of Artist Loft, Liquitex Basics, and this other color up here, which I'll talk about in a second. And then this one here is a combination of gold and bronze, both by Liquitex Basics. And I've done something that I call a mother color. So I'm using a mother color concept with this color palette. I've taken this light purple from Master's Touch, and I've added a bit of this in every single one of these colors. And it probably isn't obvious that I've added that in there. It's a very subtle shift, but there's also Master's, this light purple in the black right here. This is going to be our base coat, but I've got a little bit of this light purple in every one of these colors. So this is actually a very faint, light, kind of a pink color. This is also kind of a silvery pink. It's in the gold and this bronze. So these are very subtle color shifts, but they should look pretty interesting. And the reason I like to do that is, one, it's fun to experiment with different color combinations. Two, if you add a mother color to your other colors that you're using, it kind of gives a more cohesive feel to all the colors. So, and of course, these are it's a very, very subtle color shift. Probably difficult to see this on camera, but when the painting dries, you're going to be able to see this slight pink purple in all of these different colors when the paint's dry. So it should be pretty exciting. I really like the way the colors turned out. Hopefully the painting turns out great. We'll find out though. So I'm going to move these aside. And if you're just joining us, what I'm going to be doing is a combination of a couple things. I'm going to be doing a double cup pour, or kiss pour, as a lot of people like to call it. But one of the cups is going to be a split cup. And so I've created this split cup right here. And I just took a piece of thin plastic. I've cut it into the shape that fits inside this cup here and taped it in. So I can remove this and use it again in another cup like this if I want to in the future. The reason I created a split cup instead of using a pre-made one is I wanted both of these cups to be the same size. And in this cup, I'm going to be putting the dark black / purple color. That's going to be just one solid color, and it's going to be acting as a negative space in our painting. And in this cup, the split cup, I'm going to have one side just our metallic white and silver. The other side will have our gold and bronze. And then I'll be pouring them all together. So we're going to it's actually going to be kind of like 3 separate layered cups. Should be fairly interesting. I've never tried it before, and we'll see what happens. So it's an experiment for me. I've done many double cup kiss pours but I've never done um, a split cup kiss pour. So we'll find out what happens with that one. And I've seen a question from Lily, and she's asking how much of the mother color is in each color. Well, in the black, there's quite a bit. Black really will suck up the color. So I put a pretty nice large squirt of maybe an ounce, half an ounce of the light purple in the black. But in each of these, it's very, very small, like a pea size, small little drop of that light purple. Especially in the white, you have to be very careful. Um, Colors in white and silver, they will take over very fast. So add it very, very gradually. I just put a tiny drop on the end of my stir stick and then mixed it in kind of gradually. It ended up being about, maybe a pea size, half a pea size, um, in pretty much all these colors. You could add a little, you can get away with a little more in the dark bronze, um, but it's very, very small. But it all depends on the color. It all depends on the mother color that you're adding to the other colors. So you just want to work gradually until you get kind of a color palette that you really like. So and it changes kind of every time you do it. So great question though, Lily. Okay, all right. So let's get back to our demo. And so I'm not going to show you exactly how I made this. I'll show you in the membership if you wish to join. It would take a little bit of time, but it's a very simple process making a split cup. And the reason I am not using a pre-made split cup again is I want these cups to be the same size. These are relatively small cups. I have this line on there, which is 6 ounces in each cup. And that's about how much I need. About 12 ounces is about how much I need to cover a 16 by 20 with a straight pour. And the other reason I'm not using um, a pre-made split cup is uh, the difference in size of the cups can kind of affect the way the technique is kind of executed. So this is a split cup I've used many times. I love this split cup, but it's so big. It's really designed for to be used as a 16 by 20 right here, all by itself. But if I was to use this cup along with this cup, I'd only have about half of it filled with paint. And when you're pouring, I'm going to just hold this sideways. This cup will just start to pour right away. This cup, it's going to be up to here before all the paint's out. So it's going to be very awkward to kind of use like a large cup and a small cup together. That's why I chose to go ahead and make my own split cup. This will be much more convenient, and I'll be tilting the cups at the same time, the same direction, both together. So it's pretty cool. Hopefully it works. Again, I've never done it before. This is the first time. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to first fill this cup with 6 ounces of our dark black purple color. And by the way, the formula I'm using for all these paints is my easy formula. So it's just 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint, and then enough water to get a slight mound or small mound, kind of my standard consistency. So there is our black cup. That's our layered cup. I'm going to also use this as our base coat to spread on our canvas. Now let's go ahead and layer our split cup. So I'm going to be putting in this side just our white and our silver. So I'm going to start with that. And so I have to think about what colors I want to put in first. Those are going to be the last colors to come out of the cup. So I think I'll start with the white first. Just put a little bit of that in, and then go to the silver, and I'm just going to go back and forth, layering these. And I might add some into my second side too as well. I would go with the gold first, just so I can kind of fill the cup up at the same time. It's probably a good idea. So a little gold, little bronze. Now if a little bit of this paint mixes in the cup, it's not airtight, like perfect seal between the two layers. I'm not too worried about that. We'll see what happens. It's a little more white, but the bulk of it is going to be kept separate. A little more white, a little more silver. I'm just going to alternate these layers until I reach my 6 ounce mark. Oh, I got a little white on the other side. That's okay. One tricky thing about the split cup is you have to pour down the side, this side, not the opposite side, so that you're layering your colors the correct way. So when you pour out, they're pouring out correctly. Um, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Let's see, back to my white. Okay, almost there with our layers. Okay, that's pretty much as I need for my white. And let's see, just a touch more gold, and I think we've got it. There we go. So we've got 6 ounces in our layered cup. I'm going to put that off to the side. I'm going to move my paints over here, and then we'll spread our base coat on. Get rid of that little drip there. And here we go. I'm just going to pour this on. Hopefully I have enough. I think I do. We just need a thin layer of our base coat. And again, I'm using this in our cup. So we're going to get some negative space. And I really like to get negative space this way with a kiss pour. So you're kind of designing the negative space right into the technique. And I've done this many times, and I usually like the results, not always, but usually it turns out pretty cool. Okay, almost done here. I'm not too worried about the edges. Those are going to get covered as we tilt. Okay, I think we just about have it. I'm going to pop some of these air bubbles with my torch. Okay, there we go. All right, let me pop some air bubbles here. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and pour our paint out. Now this is going to be a little tricky. I'm going to switch the camera angle so you can kind of get a better look at what I'm doing. So you have kind of a side view here. And I'm going to be pouring right in the center right here. And we'll see what happens. So the final decision I have to make is what side of the layered cup I'm going to pour out of. I layered it on this side. You can see this is where the paint ran down the side of the cup. I think I'm going to pour from this side. A lot of the times I pour from the opposite side, I layer, but this time I'm going to just pour from the same side. we'll see what happens. I like to do it both ways. I've done it both ways many times. It does make a difference. You can tell a difference, but both ways look pretty cool. So we're going to try it this way on this demo. So I've got my other cup of paint right here. So let's go ahead and begin. So I'm going to do this so you can kind of see what I'm doing. We're going to start, trick is to start even. And then this takes a steady hand. And I'm just focusing on pouring out the same amount of both cups in a relatively even stream in the middle of the canvas. You could turn your cups, it'll kind of change the design a bit. So far so good. I'm getting close to the end. Okay, now the hardest part is kind of ending the stream of paint without getting a lot of drips. There we go. Not the greatest, but it's pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Well, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. It kept the colors very distinct, the two sides of the split cup. So let me flip the camera back and I'll take a look. Okay. So I'm going to just, before I do anything else, I'm going to just slightly move this puddle up the canvas a bit. It was a little bit off center with my pouring. There we go. And let's see. So you could torch at this stage of the game. A lot of people like to torch. I tend not to torch after I have poured my paint puddle, but that's your call, and you could definitely do it. I'm going to avoid it, but I'm liking what's happening. I think we got a very interesting design. So it's time to go ahead and stretch this out. And I think we're going to have some cool negative space, hopefully, down here. And I like the base coat having that on there because it allows me a lot of flexibility. I don't have to tilt over the entire canvas because it's all the same color. So that gives me a lot of latitude to tilt as much or as little as I need to. So I'm going to start by just stretching out the paint puddle. This is stage one of my tilting process. I'm going to go over this way first. And I just want to expand the paint puddle. I'm going to just rotate. Okay. Now, a lot of the times I just pour off this corner first, but I'm going to wait because we've got a lot more white and silver on here than our gold and bronze. So I think we have plenty to work with over on this side. So I'm going to move the peach back over. And probably pour off this corner or this corner first. I haven't decided yet. I think I'm going to go down here and pour this off. So we're going to probably lose this big band right here. Okay. Now I'm going to go down and tilt this off. This is going to be a negative space corner, or most of it should be anyway. So now I'm going to the opposite corner here. I'm going to tilt this off. So this will be a white corner, white and silver. Sure I like that black band yet, but I think I'm going to tilt that off. It's going to be kind of distracting. So tilted that black band off of there. Let's set it down, take a look at it, see what I think. So I like it. I'm deciding if I want to keep this. I think I'm going to tilt it off. I think it looks interesting with it, with this black corner here. I'm going to tilt it off. But that's just me. Okay. It's a very feathery looking painting, which I like. So we've covered the corners. We've got a negative space, two negative space corners. I'm going to just see if there's anything else I want to do to it. I like it the way it is. I think it's an interesting composition. This big black center kind of tied in with these kind of feathery edges. But I do like the effect of the double cup. So I like the way it, I mean, I like the technique itself. I like. Every painting is going to be a little different, but I really like we're able to keep like these two color fields separate. So the gold and the bronze is definitely separated from the white and the silver. I think that's very cool. So I'm going to just see if there's anything else I want to do. One thing I don't love is these two corners are very, very similar. So I might want to maybe try to bring some of this down a little bit. Maybe alter that a little bit. I'm just going to kind of just tilt it and see what the paint wants to do here, the way it wants to move. Yeah, I'm not liking the way it's kind of moving in that direction. There we go. I think I like that a little bit better. Remove that center just a touch. I kind of changed the shape of this black corner as opposed to this one a little bit. Nothing super dramatic, but I kind of like the way that looks. Now you could continue with this if you wanted to. You could tilt off one of these corners. I think it would still make a very interesting painting. I kind of like it just the way it is. So I'm probably gonna just leave it like that. I mean, you could definitely take it in many different directions, and but I really like the possibilities of this split cup kiss pour technique. So I think that's kind of cool. So let me see here. Turn it this way. See what it looks like in that orientation. Not sure which way I like it best. But I think it's a pretty cool painting. So okay, I can go back here, and so that's I'd say a successful test. Um, I like the painting. I like the color palette a lot, but I really love. I think the possibilities what you could do with the split cup, double cup pour. So, and then behind me is another example. This is kind of a regular, just double cup pour. In one cup I had a lot of some different golds, and then the other cup I had black. So that's another example of something similar. We just added another element on top of that with the split cup. So let's see here. I'm going to just see if you have any questions that might have come in. Just scroll back up here. See lots of opinions. That's good. And someone's asking, is this a piss pour with split cup? Yes, it is. That's what we just did. I think it turned out pretty cool. Let's see here. So any questions you might have about the technique or the demo or anything else, throw in the comments. Let's see here. Okay. Just checking to see if I missed any questions. There's a lot of comments that came in. Let's see here. And Susan has got a question, and she's asking, why did you choose the pink for a mother color? Well, it's not pink, it's light purple. I want to be clear about that. I call things light purple or magenta. I'm being facetious, of course, but I don't know exactly why I chose this one. I love this color. It's a kind of a muted, neutralized, purpley pink color, magenta color, excuse me. But I just thought it would look interesting mixed with the silver and the white, and so I just kind of picked it randomly. I just thought it might be very interesting. So there's no real rhyme or reason why I chose this specific color. Um, but I knew it would work well with the silver and the white as long as I was very careful with how much I added, not too much. And I'm really pleased with the color that came out of adding a little bit of this. But you could get beautiful, I could have used any number of different colors as the mother color, and it would change things. Um, I don't want to say drastically. I would say it would change. It would have changed this color palette um, um, a little bit because I only added just a small amount of that paint. But feel free to just experiment with colors and playing around with colors. Mix different colors together, especially colors you don't think are going to go together well. Mix them together and see what happens. I'm constantly surprised by what happens when you mix colors you're not quite sure of. Some pretty cool things can happen. And I found a lot of really awesome colors that way. And Anne is asking how to make the split cup, and I'm not going to go into that in this demo. It's not that difficult, but I just used a thin piece of plastic. It's one of those plastic sheets you would get on a. They come in front of some of the larger canvases that you get from Michaels, things like that. So you can get them for free. You just cut it in the shape of your cup, and I use Scotch tape to kind of secure it in there in the center. And And Lily is asking about how to make the cup, and I'll definitely show you in our membership exactly how to make that cup. A little too uh, take a little too long to show you here though, but don't worry about that, Lily. We'll do it inside our membership. And let's see here. Okay. So I don't see any other questions. Um, but let's see here. And Lily is asking, I think I read the mother color is the most prominent color in a painting. Is that correct? You can do it. The mother color concept can be used in a multitude of ways. It can be the dominant color, and then all other colors are kind of variations of that, or it can be a little more subtle. And so you can make it very dominant, you can make it very subtle. The whole point is you just have a little bit of one color in all the other colors, and it kind of helps to unify your color palette. And this color palette by itself is kind of unified, just because it's very kind of monochromatic. But these are very subtle changes that I'm doing. So I didn't do a very dramatic, like mother color concept in this one, but you can do it in a multitude of different ways. And Brenda's saying you can buy these split cups for $5.99 at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. Yes, you can. There are plenty of them available. I have quite a few of them. The reason I made my own is, like I mentioned earlier, I wanted those cups to be the same size. So, and just to make one myself was a whole lot easier. So, but feel free to do it any way you wish. So, okay. Well, thanks for joining me, everyone. No other questions are coming in. But I'm going to throw the link to the Cloud Core workshop in the chat one more time. And feel free to go check it out and sign up. If you have any questions, you could always email me or message me. There's a little messaging app at the bottom of the workshop page. If you want to send me a message or ask me questions, anything like that. If you want to email me, you could email me at brad@pouringstudio.com, and I'd be happy to get back to you as soon as I can. So, okay, well, thanks so much for joining me. Hope you found this interesting and hopefully fun. I think it turned out pretty cool. It was my first time doing it. I really, really like the potential in this technique. So, thanks so much, everyone. I will hopefully see you next week in the 3-day Cloud Core workshop. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.